We have no time to waste. We literally have zero time to waste. There's college basketball on right now. You're looking at Studio S as currently constructed. And I got to say, Anita Marks, it might be time to me to do a little cleanup. It looks that way.
A
Does
lot of
not appear to
wires.
be
A
does
lot
not
of
appear to be well kept at the moment.
a lot of wires there, Daniel.
My mother would be horrified if she saw the uncleanliness of the situation here. Anita Marks is with us, as she is every week here on Market Movers. A fun edition today. We've got live college basketball. We'll be live trading Alabama, Mississippi State. We'll be live trading East Carolina and Houston. You're seeing me looking up because they're on the televisions above us. Ohio State, Michigan State in the Big Ten quarterfinals also about to tip off as well. And we have the Players' Championship. But most importantly, Anita, we have to inform the viewers, for the first time ever, we met each other last night. How about it?
I can't believe it. It was so nice to finally see you in
Yeah.
your human form, right? It was fantastic. Sport Trade got a big shindig together in New Jersey. So we went out, we broke bread.
We did.
Literally. Because that was yummy, right? That with that garlic, whatever that garlic spread was. I know
Yes.
you had some. I definitely dove into it. We broke bread, we drank some wine, we hugged, and here we are the next day.
Just felt so right.
Great to finally meet you, Dan.
Just felt so right. It was just like old friends pre-pandemic who had spent the whole duration of the pandemic only on Google Meets.
Zoom.
and now they're finally meeting again. No, great time and a great time put on by Sport Trade last night. The first of many, hopefully, opportunities for us to hang out and break bread and eat some hanger steak. But we've got some trading to do. Second day of the Players' Championship down in Florida. You have to fill us in now that we're about halfway through Friday on what your plays are, how they're doing, and sort of if you are veering and going in a different direction for the remainder of the tournament.
Sure, absolutely. So looking at and I'm looking at the leaderboard over here. So looking at the leaderboard, you've got Colin Morikawa who's up there. He's 2 shots back to Chad. Is it Rami? I don't even know who this cat is. And he's 2 shots back. He's hold on one second, because he just teed off not too long ago. So here's the thing. All right, so really quick, let me go through the leaderboard first and foremost.
Sure.
So Colin Morikawa was the guy that I was eyeing. I did not, full disclosure, I did not bet him prior to the tournament, but I'm definitely going to put some coin on him now. Obviously, the odds won't be as juicy, but still one of the best, if the not best ball striker on the tour, and definitely showing that, of course, in this tournament, considering that he's 7 under. Ben Griffin, who's tied for 3rd, he's 6 under. That is a cat that I put some coin on. So thrilled that he's up there. Now, he already teed off and he played this morning. Understand, down in Florida, I'm from Miami. I'm sure that you've been down there as well, Dan. You want to play in the morning. When you play in the morning, you have little to no wind. As the day progresses, especially where Sawgrass is, you're a 7-iron to the beach down there right in Jacksonville. So as the day progresses, the winds pick up. So what we saw yesterday was those that teed off in the morning had like a +1 stroke gain on the majority of the guys who teed off in the afternoon. So what you're seeing today is a change, because those who teed off in the afternoon on Thursday now teed off in the morning on Friday. And the weather conditions right now in Jacksonville, no bueno, not good. So now today, this afternoon, not only are they dealing with some wind, but they're also dealing with some rain. So therefore, I'm looking at the leaderboard right now, and I'm looking for guys who've already played, who've already teed off, who've already played. They're already in the clubhouse. They're back at their condo, getting a massage, doing whatever it is they do. And so Ben Griffin is one of those guys. So, and I liked him coming in. And again, he's tied for 3rd. He's 6 under. So he's in a really good position right now heading into the weekend. I'm not sure what you have. If you could look up on your Sport Trade, what do you have for Ben Griffin right now?
Let's check it out. Let's see. We're using a different environment and not the actual app. So let me pull that up right now as I continue to fill time.
Another guy I want you to keep an eye on as well is Jason Day. Again, Jason Day, another cat who teed off this morning. He shot a 70, so he's sitting at 4 under. So he's 5 shots back. He's tied for 8th. So he was 2 under today. And Jason Day is a guy, he's won here before. He won at TPC Sawgrass back in 2010. And his game has really been on point this season. And this is a track that really suits his game. Also, another guy, again, who's already in the clubhouse, who's also tied for 8th, who's 4 under. So he's 5 shots back, is Victor Hovland. So those would be the 3 guys right now that I'm looking at this leaderboard that are already in the clubhouse. They don't have to worry about these horrific afternoon wind and rain weather conditions in Jacksonville, and I think have positioned themselves extremely nicely on the board heading into Saturday and Sunday. So I'm curious, what's the value for those 3 golfers?
Yeah. Well, obviously pedigree plays a big role in the pricing, and our market makers sort of, frankly, disagree with you in some of these cases. So Colin Morikawa is by far the runaway favorite here at $24.50 per share. He is 7 under. He's even through 4. So he's got a lot of holes left, and as you alluded to, the afternoon weather down in Jacksonville, not supposed to be very good. Scotty Scheffler is second on our board here at $13.50 per share. He is 1 over on the day, and he is 7 shots back currently. Now, he's got a lot of golf to play. I think he's in the same group as Colin, so they're both through 4 right now. Jason Day at 7.5 is number 3. That's plus 1209. Victor Hovland is also at 7.5, so plus 1209 after a decent day for Victor Hovland as well. 1 under, now 4 strokes under par and 6 strokes back of Ramey, who came in at 8 under yesterday. Took a lot of people by surprise, I would say.
I'm sorry, did you mention what's the price on Griffin? Griffin?
Ben Griffin is $4.50 per share, so plus 2080, 4.5.
So again, this is what I would do right now on Sport Trade, and I might do it as soon as the show's over. And that is, I would buy maybe quite a few shares of Ben Griffin at, you said $4, trading at $4.
Yeah, $4.50.
And I also would buy some shares of Jason Day and Victor Hovland. It's going to be really interesting. We've got another 3 to 4 hours to see how this afternoon round plays out. And again, I've got eyes and ears on the ground down there in Jacksonville, Florida at TPC Sawgrass, and he's telling me that A, weather conditions are not good, and B, this course is really, really super, it's really tight, it's really hard, it's playing really fast. All that combined, I think it's going to be tough for any of these afternoon golfers to really make a run at the leaderboard right now.
So 7.5 shares available of Ben Griffin to win the Players Championship at just $4.50. So if you wanted to, Anita could sweep the board there. So if you're on Sports Trade after the show today and you see the price skyrocket, it's because Anita Marks has absolutely taken the market makers to task in that regard. We've got college basketball as well. The two of us are trading live. I'll pull up our phones right now. As you can see on the left side of your screen are Anita's bets, and the right side of the screen are my bets. We'll go over them quickly before we start to watch a little bit of college hoops here. Anita has the over 133.5 in East Carolina at Houston. That was a game, Anita, that I think had 45 points at halftime. It's now 43-32. So some work to be done there as reflected on the screen. You can see you're down $2. You also have East Carolina plus 21.5. That's actually looking pretty decent right now. You got it at a gigantic number, so it really hasn't moved. You got it at $86 per share. Of course, if you're watching this and you don't know what that means, on Sport Trade, we use implied probability. Therefore, everything is 0 to 100. So $86 per share, where Anita got East Carolina plus 21.5, implies an 86% chance that bet is going to hit. Again, it's 45-34 there, so only an 11-point advantage for Houston with under 10 minutes to go in the second half. That explains why that's as high as it is. And then you had Alabama at minus 7.5, and you got that at, looks like 93.5. But that looks like it's a certainty. They're up 19 with 9:33 remaining. We'll flip over to the right side, under 136.5 in Mississippi State and Alabama. That is cruising right now. So I've made $38 on that one. No sense in trading out. That looks like that's going to be an easy one. I did take East Carolina to beat Houston only because it was $7.50 at halftime. And I thought, hey, if they can get above a $7.50% chance of winning that basketball game, I would go for it. And that just has not worked out. And then Ohio State, Michigan. Tipping off here shortly. Go ahead.
So when you text me and said, "Hey, do I have any plays in these two games?" I wasn't aware that they had already tipped off already.
Oh no, I had
So I'm like, wait, what? 90, what? 95.50? That's
I
how much it was for Alabama minus 7.5?
I asked, I had asked if you had any bets you wanted me to make for you, not proxy. You know, this is a lower environment of the app, right? I'm not making bets for Anita.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
my point being is I didn't I guess what I'm saying is I did not know that the games had already started yet when you sent me that.
Think of it like like a stock trader, right? So you got in at 94, maybe not be that great, but hey, you're going to make $6. It's free money, Anita. Come on.
Yeah, but I would have liked what was the starting price of Alabama minus 7.5?
I imagine somewhere around 52 to 52.5.
Okay, that's when I would have liked to have gotten in on this. That's for sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I like the over here. Listen, if East Carolina can just get to around 60 points, I think the over can hit. There's 11 minutes left in the second, so that's obviously that's not looking good for me. I like this Alabama team. You have Mississippi State that was coming off of an overtime win against Florida. This is the thing, and this is. And we're going to get into some of my plays, some of my college plays later on for this afternoon and this evening. But a big part of handicapping for me in these conference tournaments is fatigue, especially teams that obviously were higher seeds and now have had to play 2 or 3 straight days in a row. So that came into play as well in regard to Mississippi State because they do have a good defense. They're a good offensive rebounding team. They beat Arkansas. They beat TCU. They beat A&M. So they're not a bad team. It's just they would have to bring their A game in order to beat Alabama, and I wasn't expecting that today. So
we're also tracking this Houston game, as we've mentioned, and something interesting on Sport Trade is you can actually bet on teams not to do something, right? So we have in our futures markets now, basically futures as they pertain to conference tournaments. So you could bet on Houston to not win the American Conference Tournament, which I'm looking at right now, and it's at $72. Houston is at $76.50 to win the tournament, but they are at $72.50 to not. So what does that mean? If you bet on them to not win the American, you only have to bet $27.50 per share to win $71.05. Does that interest you at all? Now, bear in mind, Houston 17-1 in the American. Their only loss was to Temple. Shout out Owls. 29-2 overall, but they've just run through this conference. Is there any chance that you would consider that?
No, not at all. And and here's another reason why. They lost the #1 overall seed to Kansas. So, I think there's motivation here for them to win this. Win their conference and destroy folks. Maybe the committee will reconsider, especially if Kansas stumbles. So we'll see. So I think there's added motivation here for Houston to come out and just annihilate people.
The Cougars up 45-37. So we'll go back to our bets here. So East Carolina plus 21.5. Looking pretty good, up to 89.50. Alabama minus 7.5, as we mentioned, basically an assured thing. I'm looking at my East Carolina trade, my bet here. You can buy them at $3.50. So that would lower my cost basis considerably if I wanted to do that. And we'll see how many are available. So there's 13 shares available. That's an extra $45. That would basically careen my cost basis. They're down 9 with 8:13 remaining. Again, they don't have to win the game. We're just trying to get profitable. I think I'm going to do this. $45 for an opportunity to take home who knows how much. Let's see. So I've executed that deal. I now have 17 shares at an average cost of $4.44. So in order for East Carolina to make me any money, they have to get above a 4% chance to win. They're down 10 with 8 minutes left. You can't see. I'm gonna switch to the on-camera shot here because nobody could see the dismissive look Anita was giving me as I went through that entire rant.
I just sat here telling you how I think Houston has the added motivation to just annihilate people, and you're like, okay, I'm going to put money on East Carolina.
I'm just out here trying to make a little dough. All right, we got diapers to pay for, we got daycare to pay for. Dad's looking for a little extra scratch. We got the weekend coming up. All right, 10-point game 7:27 left. You mentioned you had some NBA plays this evening. Not to throw something at you that we didn't discuss beforehand. Do you want to run through them at all, or point us in the direction where?
I have my NBA plays. I have my
Yeah.
college basketball plays. You tell me what do you want first?
We'll stay in the neighborhood. Let's do college basketball.
Okay. All right. And so I'm just going to tee these up, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you. I'm curious for your feedback if you're on the same side I am. I like UConn here. I'll lay the 4 with UConn. Not sure if you could tell me how much that's going to cost a share on Sport Trade. They've had a great February. Could argue that they pretty much in February top 5 team in college basketball, 9-1 their last 10 games. Top 10 offense and defensive efficiency through February, good rebounding team, and they're going to have some fans in the stands. Don't get me wrong. I like Marquette a lot. I think this is going to be a good game, but I like UConn to cover. What can I buy it at -4?
Yeah, so this may surprise you, despite the fact that Marquette, I believe, is the top seed in the Big East. They were really pushed to the limit by St. John's yesterday. UConn, the 4 seed, is heavily favored. There's, $62 per share on Sport Trade to win the game outright. That's -166. Marquette is 39.5 per share. That's +150. If you're looking at the spread, the Huskies -3.5 is 51.5. So
I'd buy it.
Yeah, the odds makers are agreeing with you there. And UConn looked really good yesterday. They looked great.
Duke going up against the U baby 305 in the house. Anyway, I hate to say this because I'm a big University of Miami fan, especially this season, but I'm leaning towards the Dukies here. -2.5. I also like the under. Duke, they've looked great this month. They're a very young team, Dan, but it's really been interesting. We've seen them develop, grow, and kind of find their way throughout the season. They beat Pitt 96-69, and Pitt is not, a
5 seed. Yeah, in the ACC.
They're not a marshmallow team by any stretch of the imagination. The Duke is a good offensive rebounding team, which means I think they're going to milk the clock. That's why I like the under here. Lively, great rim protector. And again, I think fatigue is going to be setting in with both these teams.
Any relation to Blake?
I'm sorry?
Any relation to Blake?
To Blake? I don't know.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
So what can you buy Duke at -2.5?
Yeah, Duke's at 57.5. 2.5. They're at even money, just 50 cents per share. Straight up 57.5. Miami is 43.5. So you're crossing enemy lines here for the Dukies. This is heresy.
Another one that I like, UCLA and Oregon. I like the over, Dan, at 133.5. UCLA, one of the best defensive teams in college basketball, but with no Clark, no bueno, baby. They have to find a way to win. And in order to do that now, instead of playing exceptional defense, they're going to have to score some points. And I think we're getting a really good number here. What's the share at 133.5?
So we have it 134.5, and that's at 51.5. So -108 on the under rather, and the over at 134.5 is -102, which is 50 cents per share.
So I like the over there. Creighton going against Xavier. I love Creighton tonight. I also like the under here at 152.5. This is the second of a back-to-back for both teams. So again, I'm looking at fatigue. Xavier rallied against DePaul, but only 6 players got minutes. So I think they're going to be really tired. Creighton, they looked good against Villanova. They were up on them wire to wire. They led the entire game, Dan, and they won by 13 points. They've got great defense. All 5 of their starters ended up with double digits. And they match up well against Xavier. Xavier, their offense, it's all about the pick and roll. They're good with transition. And so Creighton's defense can counter that. So I like Creighton. I'll lay the points. And also I like the under at 152.5.
Creighton -3.5, $51 per share on Sport Trade. That's 106. And I'm sorry, you said the under?
Yes.
Yes, the under 152.5 at 51.5. Let's update very quickly some of our ongoing bets. So Mississippi State has now cut this Alabama lead to 16. Houston still leading East Carolina by 10, 47-37. 7 minutes left in both of those ball games. Again, we got some session timeouts. There we go. Things looking pretty good, except for my East Carolina to win bet. Although, for having 17 shares, I'm only down $16. So that's, to me, not that bad of a bet. The under 136.5 here, Anita, up $40.50. I think that one is just going to cash between Mississippi State and Alabama. So I'm happy with that. On your side, you're cruising. Alabama -7.5, East Carolina plus 21.5.
Yeah, but the over in that Houston East Carolina game doesn't look like it's going to hit. East Carolina sitting there with just 37 points.
Yeah, and only 49
really,
for Houston. So go ahead.
Really quick, some other college basketball plays for tonight. I'm on Clemson. I also like the under at 125.5. I like TCU getting the points against Texas, and also I like Arizona, and I'll lay the points against Arizona State.
So I'm very curious about this. So we are, I don't know how much I can really say. Pickett is an app that is very helpful in being able to track your bets, track your wins and losses, your ROI, etc. If you haven't downloaded it, it's unbelievable. I am sort of curious. I mean, a lot of sports bettors, Anita, have very intense ways of tracking their plays every single day, their wins and losses, their ROIs, etc. What sort of best practices do you use? I'm curious.
Well, I'm fortunate enough that I work for ESPN, and so they track.
Okay.
They track our bets.
That makes it easy.
And we are notified when we are in the negative. So so that makes it easy. But yes, you told me about this app, and I definitely I need to do that. I need to download it, especially as I'd like to be locked and loaded with that app when we start March Madness next Thursday. It's
going to be great. We have a ton of really fun things coming up for March Madness, including Thursday. Anita is going to join us for a watch party from probably we will be streaming from potentially like 12:30 to 4, just live trading. We're going to have a ton of people here in the office in Camden as we're just sort of watching games go on, and we'll be very happy to have Anita joining us. And then we have something really special for Friday that we're going to announce over the weekend, potentially on Monday, which Anita, you'll also be involved in. So we're really excited about that. Let's go back to the trades. Are there any other bets? Let's see. The board right now is just these two games. Ohio State, Michigan State has been pushed back to about 255 because of the Purdue-Rutgers game. So right now, these are the only two on the board, and not a ton of intrigue, with the exception of East Carolina trailing Houston 51-39, and they just threw up a disgusting three that had no chance. So Houston now controlling possession of the basketball. So I don't know how much movement we're going to have here on the old portfolios. So we can transition to some NBA chatter. I know, Anita, you've got some plays tonight as well. But before we get to those, I have to ask you, because we talk about this seemingly every single week, two things we always go back and forth on that we disagree on, frankly. And they are your love of Nikola Jokic and your love of the Los Angeles Lakers to win the NBA title. Are you still on? Oh God, are you? I was gonna tee you up by asking if you're still on this hill, but I guess you're now on top of it.
Well, time out. I never said that they were going to win the NBA title.
That's fair.
I did say that when LeBron James was healthy, I did wager that the Lakers would A, make it to the playoffs, B, make it to the top 6. So they would make it to the playoffs, avoiding the play-in game. Now I think, listen, they've been playing really well, and that's one of my bets. So why don't we start right there? I like the Lakers tonight. Give me the Lakers. They're getting 2. I also like, and I know we have prop bets on Sport Trade.
Yes.
I like AD over 41.5 points and rebounds if that's available on Sport Trade.
Points.
Lakers,
his points are, over 28.5.
Over there. I would take the over there. Lakers are on a mission right now, especially to make it into the postseason. No LeBron, but AD's just been unbelievable. He's averaging 26 points, 12 rebounds a game. They're 7-3 against the spread their last 10 games. Meanwhile, the Raptors, they've lost 4 of 6. They're 3-7 against the spread on the road. They're 0-4 against the spread on Friday night.
Okay.
And here's another one for you, Dan. They've been in LA since Tuesday.
Tired legs for those Raptors.
That could be too much time at Malibu Beach. And also, did you see the rant that Van Fleet went on the other night after his game? And he was just ripping the refs. I'm incorporating that into my handicapping here. I don't think you get any favors tonight.
Ref gang.
after that, temper tantrum.
Wow. So the ref game strong. Real quick. So, Toronto, also an amazing nightlife city. Los Angeles, great nightlife city. What are like the top 5 NBA nightlife cities? I feel like this isn't that hard. Miami, Toronto,
Oh, Miami,
LA,
Miami,
Oklahoma City.
Miami, hands down.
Yeah.
Miami, hands down.
Right.
I mean,
So
when a team is in Miami for like longer than 24 hours, a lot of times like a team will play one night, fly to Miami, and then they'll have an off day
yeah.
and then play the next day. Oh yeah, you've got to use that in your handicapping for sure. You know that team just spent a ton of time on South Beach.
Minneapolis.
But anyway, in regard to futures bets,
Yeah.
yes, I do like this Lakers team, and I do believe that they're going to make it to the postseason. How far they go with no LeBron, when will LeBron return? I don't know, but right now, if you were to ask me who's going to represent the East, who's going to represent the West, for me right now it's the Nuggets and it's the Bucks.
Lakers $3.50 per share to win the NBA to win the NBA championship. The Nuggets still $12. So over the last several months, they really haven't had any momentum. But this Kevin Durant injury has really flattened the odds. The Nuggets, the Suns, when they traded for Durant, were up to 19. They fluctuated between 16 and 19 ever since. They're at 17.5. The Bucks at $19 per share. The Celtics $18.50 per share. The Clippers are at 6. The Warriors are at 7, which is surprising to me. The 76ers at 5.5. What do you make, quickly before we go? Obviously, the Memphis Grizzlies have been in the news for a variety of reasons. We don't have to get into the John Morant stuff necessarily, but your take on a team that really hasn't accomplished a great deal. Now, they went to the second round last year, got taken out by the Warriors, carrying themselves in the way in which they have. Does it surprise you at all that this team has basically become the most hated team in the association?
I think they definitely play with a lot of swagger. And didn't they just come out like last night or the night before? Didn't they beat the Golden State Warriors? Wasn't that like a big, right?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know. Let's see. I'm looking it up.
Right.
They did one.
Don't they have a beef? Don't they have a beef with?
Yes. I mean, Draymond has a beef with everybody, including his own teammates. So, they won 131-110. Jordan Poole's face specifically is the beef I'm referring to.
There you go. 131 to 110. Without Morant, they had a lot of guys. In full disclosure, I laid the points with the Golden State Warriors. I laid the 2, so I lost that last night.
And the Warriors
I did not think the Grizzlies were going to win that, especially with the number of injuries that they have and the fact that Morant was still suspended.
The Warriors are 7-26 away from home this year.
Yeah, they just have not been a very good team on the road, and that's really been from the start of the season. That's not just without Steph Curry. Even with Steph Curry, they were really bad on the road. The Warriors. I just don't think their bench play has been what it's been in years past. Granted, yes, you want to say they've got the big 3, okay, with Clay and Draymond and Steph. But they're a team that they rely on a lot of bench play and a lot of points off that bench with a number of guys, and that they just have not been delivering this season.
Yeah, it seems like the mix of veterans and young guys just hasn't coalesced like it has perhaps in years past.
Good word, Dan.
Thank you. Very high SAT score. Yeah.
I have 2 more NBA plays really quick.
Please.
You want them?
Yes.
I love the Cavs tonight. I'll lay the 1.5 going up against the Miami Heat. Miami Heat 5-16 against the spread their last few games. Lowry is still out. They're inconsistent. I think they've underachieved this season. They have a solid defense all around, but their weakest link is in the paint. And as you know, the Cavs, like Mobley, Mobley and Allen, forget about it. I think they're going to dominate in the paint tonight. And also this Cavs team, keep in mind, Dan, they're feeling the Knicks, right? The Knicks are on their coattails. The Knicks want that 4th seed in the East so that they could host the first round that we're all anticipating it to be against the Cavs. So I think the Cavs come out. I think they're motivated. I'll lay the 1.5. And last but not least, I like your 76ers tonight. And I also like the over. 76ers 21-8 at home against the spread. They've won 3 straight. They're coming off a game against Minnesota where they hit 15 of 25 three-pointers.
Don't I know it?
Unbelievable. They're chasing Boston for that 2nd seed, so they're going to be really aggressive. And
frankly, Portland's just not that good. Let's just be
No.
honest. They're just not that good. I mean, the Sixers are
No,
trading at 78.5 straight up, and they're 8.5-point favorites on Sport Trade at $54 per share. All right, we'll take one last go around here at the portfolios. Not a ton moving around here, except the fact that Houston now up 11 with about 4 minutes to go. So this was just, not a great buy on my part. We had 17 shares of East Carolina to make it competitive, and they kind of just were able to hold them at bay. Meanwhile, Anita sweeping the board here. East Carolina plus 21.5, Alabama minus 7.5. This over 133, not going to happen. But hey, 2-1 there on our little mini live trading session. Anita, any things to say before we go?
Yeah, I thought East Carolina would be able to put up. I felt like if they could just put up 60 points, I could get that over. And obviously, it's not what happened. Really quick, this is what I'd like to do. I just want to take a look at the leaderboard for the Players Championship since we've been on. And again, if you're looking at today, if you're looking at some of the better scores today, the majority of them are guys that are already in the clubhouse. So I'm gonna go back to when we opened up the show, and again, just to remind people, I'm gonna buy a ton of shares of Ben Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a considerable amount of Jason Day as well as Victor Hovland. Those are the 3 guys that I'm going to invest in on Sport Trade as we head into Saturday and Sunday.
She is Anita Marks. Anita, thank you so much. As always, we'll talk to you next week.